Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Well, today we're tackling a topic that's, well, kind of mind-blowing.
Oh, yeah?
It really is. It's all about how we view time from an Islamic perspective, and we'll be taking a look at a fascinating conversation between Islamic scholars Amjad Samir and Hilal from the Fahem podcast.
Sounds interesting.
It is. Get ready to rethink things like birthdays.
Really? Birthdays?
And maybe even level up that whole time management game.
All right, I'm intrigued. What stuck out to me most about their conversation was that it went so much deeper than, like, your typical time management tips, you know?
Yeah.
It really dives into the Islamic concept of time and this idea of wakefulness.
So instead of just saying, make a schedule, what are they suggesting?
Well, they have this unique way of looking at time. They see it as a resource, like more precious than gold, more precious than even $1 million.
Whoa, hold on. Most people would say time is valuable, but to compare it to $1 million, that's a pretty bold statement. What makes them say that?
Okay, so they use this analogy. Imagine someone spending $1 million on balloons.
$1 million on balloons.
On balloons. Sure, it's not like wrong or anything, but imagine all the things you could do with that money.
Right, the investments you could make, the people you could help.
Exactly. That's how they want us to think about time.
It's not just filling up our time, it's about investing it wisely.
Right.
Okay, wow. That analogy really makes you think. I'm starting to see their point.
It's a big wake-up call, for sure. Makes you realize how much time we all spend on things that, well, maybe don't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
So true. Like, what if instead of scrolling through social media for an hour, you use that time to learn a new skill or spent time with your family?
Exactly. It's not always about doing something bad with our time, right?
Right.
But more like missing out on something much more valuable.
It reminds me of something I read once about how time was even measured by the breath in the Islamic tradition.
Oh, yeah. That's so powerful. It shows how each and every moment is truly precious.
To think that our ancestors were so aware of time they measured it in breaths really makes you appreciate how quickly each second slips away.
It really does.
Wow, I never thought about it that way. No wonder they say it's more valuable than $1 million.
And this leads us to a really important concept in understanding this perspective on time. And that's Guffa.
Guffa.
Yeah. It's often translated as heedlessness, but it goes much deeper than just being distracted.
Okay, so it's more than just getting sidetracked by our phones or daydreaming during a meeting.
Exactly. It's like it's a state of not being aware of the true value and potential of our time.
So almost like sleepwalking through life, missing out on all the opportunities each moment holds.
Yeah. We're physically there, but our minds are somewhere else completely.
I see. I'm starting to understand Guffa a little better now. But how do we know if we're in a state of Guffa? Like, are there any signs?
Well, the scholars tell this really interesting story about a scholar who, get this, even while trying to commit a robbery, suddenly understood the meaning of a Quranic verse he had heard countless times before.
Wait, he had a spiritual awakening during a robbery.
I know, right? That's the point they're making. It shows that Guffa isn't only for those doing, like, bad things.
Yeah.
You know?
So you could even be doing good deeds or acts of charity, but still be in a state of heedlessness if your heart isn't fully in it.
Exactly.
So it's not just about what you do, it's how you do it. Your intention and your awareness really matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes a lot of sense.
Guffa can sneak up on us even when we're doing, well, pretty normal things. Think about all the times we mindlessly scroll on social media or binge watch a show. It's not like those things are bad in themselves. But when you think about all the other things you could be doing,
Yeah, all the missed opportunities.
it really makes you think.
It really does.
Like we're trading away those precious moments for, well, distractions, you know?
And once those moments are gone, they're gone. So knowing all this about Guffa, how do we even start to cultivate that opposite, that yaqaza, that wakefulness?
Oh, that's a great question. Imam al-Haruni actually outlines 3 remedies that I think you'll find really practical
Oh, okay.
and relatable too.
All right, lay it on me. I'm ready to wake up and make the most of my time.
Okay, so the first one is seeking Islamic knowledge.
Okay.
And this isn't just about, like, you know, passively reading books or anything. It's
Nice.
about actively engaging with knowledge that helps you understand your purpose.
So it's not just any knowledge.
Right.
It's knowledge that's relevant to our lives that can help us make better choices.
Exactly. The scholars share this story about Ibn Umar, a companion of the Prophet Muhammad.
Okay.
He realized he had missed out on so many rewards simply because he wasn't aware of the sunnah of attending funerals.
So even small actions can have a huge impact
Yes.
if we're aware of their significance.
Yeah, like we need that knowledge to unlock the potential of our actions.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Knowledge is like a map.
Uh-huh.
It guides us to the right path,
Yeah.
but action is what moves us forward.
Okay, that makes sense. So that was the first remedy.
Yes, seeking Islamic knowledge.
What's a second?
Okay, so the second is responding to the call of good.
Oh, interesting.
So it's not enough to just have the knowledge, right? We have to actually use it.
Put it into practice.
Exactly. There's a story about Imam Ahmad, a really famous scholar. He heard a hadith and immediately put it into practice.
Wow, he didn't waste any time.
No hesitation at all.
So it's about recognizing when we have a chance to do good and then, like, just doing it without overthinking it.
Yes. Training ourselves to respond to that nudge of inspiration.
Yeah, like a spiritual reflex.
I like that.
Okay, these are really good. What's the third remedy?
The third remedy is keeping company with the righteous.
Yeah, I can see how that's important.
It's something we often overlook, though, you know?
Yeah, I guess it's easy to forget how much the people we surround ourselves with can really affect us.
And it's not about judging people based on how they look or anything.
Right.
It's about surrounding yourself with people who inspire you.
People who embody the values that you want to live by.
Exactly.
So, like, how do we even find these righteous companions?
Well, it doesn't have to be some big dramatic thing.
Right.
Sometimes it's just about recognizing the people who are already in your life.
Oh, yeah, like the good friends, mentors, family members.
Those who really radiate positivity and make you want to be a better person.
I like that. Appreciating the hidden treasures we already have in our lives.
The scholars share a story about a young scholar who felt embarrassed to admit he only read 3 juzes of the Quran every night because he was around people who read much more.
Oh, wow.
It highlights how our environment can really influence our own standards.
That's so true. When I'm around people who are really passionate about learning, I find myself wanting to learn more too.
Exactly. It's like good habits and positive energy can rub off on you.
It's like osmosis.
Exactly. They also mentioned the scholar who was inspired to constantly do Tucker simply because he saw his companion doing it.
Oh, wow, that's powerful. So even just observing someone else's practice can have an impact on our own spiritual growth.
It really can.
That's amazing.
The people we choose to be around can either lift us up or hold us back, you know?
It's true.
We become a reflection of our companions to some extent.
Wow, this has been really eye-opening.
Yeah.
It's like you've given me this whole new way to look at time.
I'm glad to hear that.
But I have to be honest, it's a bit daunting too, you know?
Oh, yeah. How so?
Knowing that every moment is so precious kind of makes me feel this pressure, you know? Like I have to make sure I'm not wasting any of it.
I totally get that. But remember what the scholars said. Even the most righteous people were always trying to improve.
Yeah.
It's a journey, not a destination.
So it's not about being perfect. It's about constantly striving to be more aware.
Exactly. And that brings us back to Yakuza.
Right, that state of wakefulness.
Yeah, it's not something you achieve once and then you're done.
Right, it's a constant practice of being present.
Yeah.
So how do we even start doing that? I mean, how do we go from feeling overwhelmed to actually, you know, making the most of our time?
It all comes down to perspective. Instead of seeing time as something that's just happening to us,
Yeah.
we need to see it as a gift.
A gift we can use wisely.
Exactly. So instead of thinking, oh, I have an hour to kill,
Right.
you think, what's the best way to spend this hour?
I see. So instead of scrolling through social media before bed, I could, I don't know, read a book or call a friend.
There you go. It doesn't have to be something big either.
It can be small things.
Yeah, but those small choices, when you add them all up,
Over time,
they can have a big impact.
they really can.
And it's okay if we mess up sometimes, you know?
We don't have to be perfect.
It's all about learning and growing.
Yeah, no more comparing ourselves to others.
Just focus on your own journey.
I like that.
So to wrap things up, let's leave you with something to think about.
Okay, shoot.
If you were judged solely on how you spent your time today, would you be happy with it?
Whoa, that's a really good question. It makes you really stop and think about how you're spending your days.
It is, isn't it? Every moment is a chance to create a meaningful life,
So true.
a life filled with purpose.
Absolutely.
So go out there and make the most of it.
Yes, make the most of this gift we call time. Every breath is a new beginning.
That's right.
We'll see you on our next deep dive. Until then, stay curious.